November 4th, 2025, Zohran Mamdani wins New York City. 12 hours later, a 48-year-old millionaire sitting in Miami picks up the phone to his finance team. He tells them one thing: start pricing office real estate in New Jersey. That millionaire owns 100% of a company he sold 3 years ago for $551 million, then bought back last year for $1, not $1 per share, $1 total. His name is Dave Portnoy. His company is Barstool Sports, and what he just said on a live stream about the new mayor of New York, that is where the story really begins. There is a specific quote he said that flipped this entire story. There's a specific number New York is watching, and there is a pattern happening in every major American city right now that nobody's talking about. Hit subscribe because this one goes deep. November 5th, 2025. One day after the election, Dave Portnoy sits down for a live stream and says one sentence that lands on every business desk in Manhattan. Quote, "If it was just me, I would move the company out of New York City because I hate this guy so much." He was not talking about a competitor. He was not talking about a bad quarter. He was talking about the mayor. And unlike most corporate exits, no lawyers, no press release, no careful language about tax efficiency or restructuring. Portnoy said the quiet part out loud. Then he said something even more revealing. Quote, "I told our finance guys to start looking around for property. No joke. That is not a rant. That is an assignment." Somewhere right now, a Barstool Sports finance employee is opening real estate listings for Hoboken and Jersey City. But to understand why this matters, you need to understand where Portnoy actually came from. Dave Portnoy did not inherit anything. He was born in Swampscott, Massachusetts in 1977. Father, a lawyer. Mother, a schoolteacher. He graduated from the University of Michigan with a degree in education he had zero intention of using. Took a boring market research job, hated every second of it. In 2003, he quit. He printed 4 pages of sports takes and gambling picks on his home printer. He walked to freezing Boston subway platforms in the middle of winter and handed them to commuters. Most of them ignored him. By 2004, he was bankrupt, drowning in credit card debt, owed money to his own father. Most people fold there. Portnoy did not. In 2016, media investor Peter Chernin bought a stake in Barstool. He valued the whole company at $10 to $15 million. Pocket change compared to what came next. In 2020, Penn National Gaming paid $163 million for a piece of the company. By 2023, Penn owned the entire thing. $551 million total across all deals. Then something strange happened. Penn decided Portnoy himself was too controversial to hold gambling licenses, so they sold the entire company back to him for $1, $1 total, not per share. January 1st, 2026, Zohran Mamdani is sworn in as the 111th mayor of New York City, youngest in over a century. Within his first 4 months in office, he pushes the corporate tax rate toward 11 to 12%. He proposes a 2% surcharge on all income above $1 million. He hints at property tax hikes to close a deficit north of $5 billion. Critics tell him the tax base will flee. Mamdani does not soften. He quotes the old line, quote, "If socialists understood economics, they would not be socialists." Then he goes on live television and argues the numbers actually prove his side is right. This is not a mayor softening for a business crowd. This is a mayor leaning in harder. And that leaning in, that is what makes Portnoy's threat different from your typical billionaire tax rant. Because Portnoy is not just talking about moving an office anymore. Sitting down with Jesse Waters on Fox News, he said flat out, quote, "I would love to run against him." A few weeks later, he went further. Quote, "Maybe I'm the guy to do it." And Portnoy is not shouting into a void, because right now, in every major American city with progressive tax policies, the exact same conversation is playing out behind closed doors. JP Morgan already employs more people in Texas than in the $4 billion tower it just built in Manhattan. Goldman Sachs is dropping $500 million on a new Dallas campus built for 5,000 employees. Wells Fargo moved its wealth management division to West Palm Beach. Citadel left Chicago for Miami years ago. Even Howard Schultz, the man who built Starbucks from a single Seattle storefront, packed up for Florida the same week his home state passed a millionaire tax. Now, here is the number nobody at New York City Hall wants you to see. In 2010, New York State was home to roughly 7% of every millionaire in America. Today, that number has slid to about 4%. And that is before a single one of Mamdani's proposals has taken full effect. Portnoy is not the first name on that list. He is just the one who will not stop talking about it. Now imagine what this feels like from the inside. Somewhere in that Manhattan office right now, there is a producer. Call her Sarah. 6 years at Barstool. She wrangles talent, edits shows, keeps the whole machine running. She did not sign up to work somewhere run by a man threatening to relocate over politics. She signed up because it was a solid job in the city she calls home. And every time her boss goes live and threatens Hoboken, she is left wondering if her rent, her commute, her entire life is about to get upended by a fight that has nothing to do with her. And to his credit, Portnoy actually acknowledged this. Quote, "We have all those people who this messes up their life just because I hate the guy." It's a catch-22, so follow the actual math. Under the tax hikes Mamdani has proposed, the combined top marginal tax rate on high earners in New York City could push toward 17%, among the highest anywhere in the country. New Jersey does not stack a city income tax on top of the state rate the way New York does. Office space in Jersey City runs a fraction of Manhattan prices, which means the exit that Portnoy is framing as pure principle also happened to line up suspiciously well with the spreadsheet. And here is what nobody at City Hall wants to sit with. The top 1% of earners in New York City already generate close to 40% of the city's income tax revenue. Every time a high profile business owner floats, leaving out loud, that is not just a headline. That is permission for every quiet founder running the same numbers behind closed doors to actually pull the trigger. And New York has already climbed down the staircase once before. In the 1970s, nearly half the Fortune 500 companies once headquartered in New York City packed up and left. The tax base collapsed, and the city came within a hair of outright bankruptcy. Nobody planned that outcome. It just happened, one departure at a time, until it did not stop happening. Which brings us back to a broke 20 something on a freezing Boston subway platform in 2003 betting on an idea nobody believed in. 22 years later, that same man sits at the top of a media empire worth hundreds of millions of dollars, headquartered in Manhattan, and he is quietly telling his own finance team to start pricing real estate across the river. He has not left. Nothing is final. But when a man who clawed his way up from nothing starts shopping for an exit, that tells you something about the temperature in the room. Here is the bottom line. This was never really about whether you like Portnoy or agree with Mamdani. It's about what happens when the people who build businesses, employ hundreds, and pay some of the largest tax bills in a city start treating that city as somewhere they might need to leave, instead of somewhere they built. So tell me in the comments, is Portnoy actually going to pack up and move, or is this all talk for the cameras? Hit like, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss the next breakdown. Stay informed, stay engaged, and never stop asking who really pays the bills.